My name is Mary Halpin. I am the Senior Vice President of Human Resources, Community Development, and Marketing at Centreville Bank in West Warwick, Rhode Island. So we are a full-service community bank. So we have personal banking, which would be the things you come into a bank branch for: open a checking account, open a CD, make deposits, make withdrawals, cash checks, all of the things I think many of us do. You can come into one of our many branches, or you can do that online. We have a full suite of online banking tools, as well as ATMs and ITMs, which are interactive teller machines, which basically creates a video call with a banker, so you don't have to get out of your car or have an ATM card to have an in-person interaction. It's just done via, similar to Zoom. We also have residential mortgage offerings. So we offer loans, home equity loans, and construction loans through our residential lending department. And then we have a commercial lending department where we offer loans to commercial businesses, mostly small businesses across southern New England.
What are you looking for in new employees? What education or career field skills, but also what soft skills?
So I think for us as a community bank, we're frankly more interested in our soft skills than the real competencies. So in almost every aspect of the bank, whether it be commercial lending, residential lending, or kind of retail banking, we have entry-level positions that just require good, solid thought process, not necessarily a deep skill set in any one area. But we are a community bank. We are not a technology-driven organization. We're building our bench on building relationships with our customers. And so one of the things we like to say is one of the things we like most in an employee is someone who's nice, who cares, who wants to be part of their community and give back in a way that helps people manage their finances. So some passion for money, savings, finances helps, but it's really a relationship-driven business. And so we're looking for people who have a willingness to learn, but really like to build relationships with other people and interact with other people.
And what is the job outlook for entry-level employees, say, over the next year right now, as much as you can predict in the current climate we're in?
Yeah, it's hard to predict at this particular point in time. For us, right now, in the midst of the pandemic, the impact has not been great. The retail banking, although the way people bank has changed dramatically since March of this year, because people come in less and less into the branches, but they're still using more and more the digital channels we have and those interactive teller machines that I talked about, particularly for people who are looking for an in-person interaction, but not wanting to expose themselves to the virus. That's been a great boon for them. And we've had a lot of adoption of those tech tools for our customers. So in the retail space where we support all that type of business, we're actually looking to grow a little bit in that space. We are actually opening some branches in the last half of the fourth quarter 2020. We will look to expand some more branch footprint in 2021. So there will be jobs available in the retail banking space for sure. So that's one area where the job outlook is pretty good, actually, for us and for employees coming, potential employees coming right out of the colleges. In the mortgage space, we do expect a pretty significant slowdown of people buying houses, selling houses, and that type of activity. So we don't see a big growth in those roles. And frankly, it's just too early to tell with the commercial space. A lot of the stimulus money has gone into the small business environment, so it's been pretty busy, and we've been adding a lot of entry-level credit analysts of late. I just have no sense of whether that will continue. It's really going to depend on what happens with the stimulus. And if the government pumps more money into small business, we will be very busy again. And we will be looking for entry-level employees to come in and help us, manage that process. And those positions would require some type of financial acumen because they have to understand credit reports and things like that.
And now thinking about your own personal career experience, what were your early experiences in this field? How did you get to where you are now? Did you start off entry level? Did you have any internships or anything like that?
So I don't have a banking background. I am, as an HR person, I started many years ago in retail. I worked for department stores, and I did a lot of hiring, training, developing, that type of work. And so I moved over many, many moons ago now to Fidelity Investments in an HR function. And so while I did not have a financial services background, I have worked in this industry for over 20 years at this point in time. So I know enough to be dangerous. But I don't think, if you had asked me when I was coming out of college if I wanted to go into financial services or the financial areas, I would have said absolutely not. It's stodgy, it's boring, I'm not good with numbers, I would not want to do it. But frankly, it's anything but. Because it is, I think it is the single biggest issue on Americans' minds, before the pandemic, it will be after the pandemic, is how they manage their money and ensure they have the right tools to be successful financially. There's studies on the impact of finances on people's emotional well-being, their physical health, the stress that those types of issues cause. And it's also an area where most Americans know very little about. So they want to manage their money, they need to manage their money, but they really don't know how to do it. And so by coming into an industry, it's not about, balancing books or writing forms or cashing checks, but it's really about engaging with our customers every day and helping them be successful. And there can't be a better feeling than that. So for me, coming into the financial services, I did it by happenstance. I happened to get a job offer that was, situated close to my house. I had a newborn at home and I took it, to be candid. And I've been there in that industry ever since. So I did not do any kind of internships when I was in college. I hate to say that I'm that old, but I'm that old when I was in college in the 80s. You didn't do internships. It wasn't a thing really that went on. Very few existed. Now, being an employer and a mother of older children, I know that how critical internships are, not just to get exposure to businesses, but to really start to understand what different businesses really do and what it really takes to work in any different industry.
Thank you for that. And our last question is, do you have any advice for current CCRI students looking to join your field or even your company?
Yeah, so I think the thing I always say to college students when I talk to them is the hardest job to get is your first job, because you don't have a ton to offer the company, and so so it's really it's a little more difficult to show a hiring manager what you're going to bring to the table, the value that you would bring in the position, because you haven't yet had an opportunity to show that. I think the other thing that's really challenging is knowing what goes on inside the four walls of any company. Just like we were talking about a second ago, what is a bank and what do we do? We do banking, as I talked about, but we do marketing. We do risk and compliance work here. We do phone call center service. We do all sorts of different things that support what the people who deal with the customers every day do. So there's just a ton of different options within any one industry. So I think, what I always advise is try different things, learn as much as you can, and when you make sure you're always thinking about what you like about every opportunity and what you don't like about every opportunity, and obviously continue to build and finding ways to maximize what you do like about it. As far as Centreville Bank, we are a Rhode Island-based bank. We are here as part of the Rhode Island community. As part of being a community bank, we require our employees to give back to the community. So we're always looking for people who want to, and that's part of their DNA and their passion. And so if you are a student looking to start a career and have some interest in banking, we love to have people come on who have a passion about growing the community in which they live and work, as well as doing the work that we do here at the bank.